Woo! What's up, guys? Oh, finally the chat is live. Hi, everybody. It's been some 6-7 years since we've done this. Wow, what is this number one thing? I love this number one thing. What is the number one thing? What is this number one thing? Top fans. Oh, nice. Very cool. So much of the live streaming infrastructure has changed on YouTube. So, guys, it's been like maybe 6 months. No, sorry, 6 years since we've done like a proper live stream. And I want to have some fun talking about you guys. Talk a little bit about how software is dead, and talk a little bit about how I'm older than my AI avatar. Let's just wait a little bit till a few more people join us. I just put up the link, and this was unlisted. But let's talk about everything today, guys. Let's talk about AI and careers, some of the cool secrets I've learned behind the scenes, looking at labs like Google and Google DeepMind and Meta and OpenAI do the stuff. Also, what I think can be really cool career ideas, what we've been seeing in the last 3-4 months. Also, want to share with you what all I've learned over the last 3-4 months on running companies, because we are now 540 people and just growing. And no, this is not an AI avatar, right? This is real. This is me. Prove I'm not AI. Well, AI can't do that. AI can't look at the chat and then say, respond to it yet. But yeah, like let's wait a little bit. Let's have a few more people jump on, and then let's get started. Oh, nice. There is a Twitch like you can put money and have your this thing up. It's very cool. What is your favorite Dora 2 character? My favorite Dora 2 character. Check kar lo na. Oh, sorry, my Instagram story didn't go up. Wait, I'll answer both your questions. What is your favorite Dora 2 character? My favorite Dora 2 character is Broodmother, because I love playing micro characters. I don't play as much anymore, but yeah, it's certainly my favorite. Venator Gamer YT asks, how was your day? How are you doing? Day has been super hectic. I've been at work for the last maybe half an hour, but before that, I was getting some work done at home. I had a conversation with the folks from IITs, and yeah, a bunch of team and bunch of coordination. We're launching something tomorrow, by the way, which I think can be very, very valuable to everybody watching this. In fact, today during the live stream, we're going to go through it while it's still in development, and I want you to see it. Hopefully, it'll kind of give you a glimpse onto how larger companies run, and give you an idea of what you should do going forward, right? And this is not green screen. This is like a real LED screen at the back. I wish it was green screen. Somebody asked, unleash the avatar, next trailer date. It's going to be probably in a couple of weeks, maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks. Unigalaxy, the next trailer date will be in a week or 2 weeks. Awesome. I think we have some people now, 3:30. It's been a long time. By the way, the way YouTube live streaming works is the audience for live streaming is completely different from the audience for the long form and for short form. It's like now YouTube is segmented into 3 different audiences, so that doing random live streams doesn't ruin any sort of organic growth that you're having separately. So I have to push people to watch this with Instagram stories and stuff. But today we're going to do something very interesting. Today I'm going to tell you, I'm going to start with how a large company runs, right? And I would say actually, instead of large, I would say a mid-sized company runs, right? What are the kind of projects that a company like EOS would do? How many of you know this? How many of you know all the projects that EOS does? Chat is going crazy. But basically, today I want to go through this report. We do this report every year. Uh, Last year, it was a completely internal report. This year, it is going to be a report that I've written publicly. It's going to go live maybe tomorrow or day after. But I thought I'll show you the behind the scenes of what this report is. It's about what we've done as a company in the last 1 year. And it also goes to show you, well, what are the number of things a company that is 550, 560 people would do? And what are those things? What are the things that you can also do that potentially can become fairly large, right? It'll give you a little bit of behind the scenes of how big the industry in content is really growing, and really what are the opportunities, right? Because I feel like in 3 or 4 years ago, when the world starts shifting, right? I was speaking about this online. I started speaking about how it was getting harder and harder in software, not to build software, but to get customers, because all the channels, advertising was getting noisy. Uh, you know, going to like a bunch of influencers getting noisy. Everything was getting like more expensive and noisy. So we started to realize that the distribution part is so much more important. And the minute we shifted to the distribution part, as you've seen today, we become a fairly large company, and hopefully I can run you through all the projects we've done. Are you guys ready? And yes, we'll talk about video editing as well. We'll talk about what's important for students. We'll talk about all the cool opportunities that we've seen this year. And then we'll also talk a little bit about the game dev industry and what we have learned. And I've learned so much about the game dev industry, which barely exists in India, but still important to run through it. Um, Ready? Shall we go through the projects? Awesome. I need to find the link. Okay, nice. The chat is live, right? Cool. I'm just finding the link. Just give me a second. And by the way, this is incomplete, which means that we need to. I can stream, right? Okay. I'll just give you. I'll give you the link, or yeah, it's this. It's this. Yeah. Yeah. We'll talk about everything, guys. We'll talk about Google Flow. We'll talk about Binod as well. um, but uh, give them a second. Let them bring it on screen, and then I'll show you all the cool things we've done 2025 to 2026. And by the way, in the business world, the financial year starts now, like this month. Yes, we'll talk about Priyanka. We're going to talk about what you should focus on as well, what has really worked for us. Um, no, just put it online. Just put it online. Don't put it in the chat. Yeah, just live stream it. Yeah. Okay, so we're just waiting for a few seconds. And we'll also take some of your questions, right? If you're a first year student, what is it that you should, the last two, you've put some extra link there, dude. Check now is there at the end of it. Awesome. Are we streaming this? Okay. Let's do it in two separate tabs. No, one, let's put the chat, and the other, let's put this. Amazing. Ready? Can you guys see this? Yes, we'll talk about Unleash the Avatar as well. Bro, tell your deal with Nikhil Kamath, the student. Guys, there is no such deal. I mean, Zerodha is a customer, but there is no conspiracy theory. What do you call it? Illuminati content company. It just doesn't exist, right? Whatever we do pretty independently, and we have a bunch of channels that we own and we create for customers. But it's definitely not the Illuminati, and it's much more simple than it looks from the outside. It's always easy to make. Can we do like split screen? Can we do? Okay. The team is just working on doing some resizing while we're here. But this is going to be really cool, right? You're going to learn what you should prioritize, what you should build, because this year, not only have we gone on the internet and yapped, I'm talking about 25, 26. Not only have we gone on the internet and yapped, I think we've also like really built a business that's taken blood, sweat, and tears and hard work. And hopefully, you're able to learn a little bit, and some of you are able to also implement, right? Ready? Can we also see, like, I can't see how many people are on the chat right now. I can't see how many people are on the chat. Okay, lovely. Cool. Just awesome. Ready? Are we all ready? I want you all to be super excited about this because, no company in India will do this. 0% of companies will go out and say, this is everything we did last year. Um, but I want you guys to be ready and pay attention because, to be very honest, there is a lot of learning for you. Yes, you're right, Are you noob streaming team. The first time they're doing streaming. I mean, in their defense, this is the first time in 6 years they're doing it. So anyway, let's go. Awesome, guys. So I'll tell you, when we started AOS, most people don't know what AOS stands for. And like today, I'll open YouTube and there'll be some conspiracy theory video, or like I'll open Reddit and there'll be some conspiracy theory about what we do. But it's actually very, very simple. And I'll tell you, it started with a live stream exactly like this many years ago. I don't know how many people remember this, but I remember that I came on this live stream and I said, software is getting harder. And I remember, I'll teleport you back to 2022. In 2022, we were running a software company called Scenes, right? We had this app, which was like Discord. It would run on your own platform. We had an SDK. You can embed it into your own app. You can use it on the internet, on the browser. So it's almost like if Discord was like this consumer platform, we were more like the DIY platform, right? Like we were the Shopify to Discord's Amazon. The only problem is that it was getting harder and harder for us over the years, and we spent like a lot of time building technology, right? But it just became harder and harder over the years to get customers for some reason. And yes, this was the Avalon days, right? Which was that for some reason customers just were getting expensive to acquire. And we'd done everything at that time, right? We'd make blog posts. We'd be like, well, here's what community platform you should be using. Here's how you do tipping in your community. Here's how you do live chat. And yeah, it'll attract some people, but ultimately my competitors had raised like 25-30 million dollars from Tiger Global, and I was getting my ass handed to me, right? And I was trying to feel maybe I'm not such a good entrepreneur, right? Maybe I'm not understanding like really why companies are successful. I was thinking more like it was gambler mentality, app developer mentality, right? Which is okay, the next feature we build is going to make us viral. The next feature we're going to build is going to be viral. And that's just never happened. It just never happened. It's just like I tried my best. We really we've always worked very hard, but like it just didn't work. And I sold the business to an academy, and then I was thinking about what should I do next. And I said, I'm going to take the opposite approach this time. I am going to now focus on distribution, right? I think with AI coming in, products are going to get easier and cheaper to build. And even if the product is, hard to build, the minute you build it for the first time, somebody else can always look at what you've built and clone it. So we just felt that there was no moat in building software products anymore. And it's a very generalized thing that I'm saying, right? I'm sure there are still some software companies doing well, but they've existed for a while, or they're also very good at marketing. And I remember I met Sanket from InVideo back then, right? And he was telling me that, they have a really cool app, InVideo, which you can, make videos on. And he was telling me that, the amount of time they've spent on SEO, which is when somebody looks for video editing tool online, the chance that they'd see one of their blog posts was very, very high. So I just realized that even the top SaaS entrepreneurs that we have in this country are all very good at marketing. And it's a good thing, right? It's the most important skill. It turned out to be the most important skill ever. And I was just like, maybe I just saw this entire thing wrong. Then we decided, okay, let's focus on distribution. Now, I wanted to build this a little differently, and I think this can be very useful for everybody watching this. There is this concept of a vertically integrated business. Okay, I had studied it in, just when I was going through, internet and reading throughout my formative years as an entrepreneur. I'll tell you what a vertically integrated business is. A vertically integrated business is one where you build something, and then instead of waiting for a customer to consume it, you only build a second business and consume it. This sounds very odd. It's almost like, let's say you're producing something, right? Let's say you're producing rice. Most of the time, people who produce rice, let's say they're farmers, they will produce it for people outside. But a vertically integrated business says, yes, we'll sell some outside, but we can also buy some in maybe for something else. Maybe we want to sell full meals, which means we need the rice business and then we need the meals business. So that's the idea of vertical integration. And there are some legendary vertically integrated businesses in India. I'll tell you the story of one, right? Which was, there is a business where many years ago, I'm not going to name it, but they brought like printers to India. Okay. They were one of the first that brought printers to India. And they started printing and they realized, well, the ink that we are importing, other companies want it, let's sell it. Hey, this paper that we're printing on, what if, we published books, right? We can just put all these papers together, stack it, put a binder, we can publish books. Hey, if we're publishing books, maybe we can start a college, right? Because, professors will be publishing books, that builds us relationships with professors, the college will buy the books, and so on and so forth. Today, that business is really large. They're a conglomerate. They own like many different types of businesses. But the idea was about vertical integration, which is, can we build one thing, use the second thing to consume it, use the third thing to consume the second thing, use the fourth thing to consume the third thing, and so on and so forth, right? And EOS was built with that philosophy. And EOS is completely bootstrapped, which is that let's not raise any external capital, because explaining this to people outside would be very difficult, right? Most people haven't caught on to the idea that software is dying. So we started with the idea. Can we go down? Can we scroll down a little bit? So we started with the idea that we want to solve the attention economy. And somebody recently came up with a full form for EOS. It didn't start like this. And this is what I'm showing you, right? Like, this is the only time you'll see the behind the scenes, and you'll see how a lot of stuff is hindsight, like created in hindsight. EOS was a random word I picked up. But recently, and after everything we've done, somebody said, hey, EOS should stand for Attention Economy Operating System. You see how it's hindsight? It's not like this wasn't planned in the beginning. It's just one of those things that came up after, we made a little bit of progress. So we solved for the attention economy from all angles. We worked with over 100 enterprises. So most of our revenue now comes from enterprises. But cool thing is that when we started with our own channels. So we have like 9.2 million followers across, our entire media network. We have many different channels. And that's only the channels we completely own, 100% own. There are also a bunch of channels that we do for customers that has several tens of millions of followers, which, I don't put in this specific part of the report. Can we go down a little bit? Awesome. So unlike other companies, we actually spend a lot of our time in research and development. I made this decision very early that the only way we're going to be ahead in this world of AI, right, where things are like really hard, is to constantly keep spending money on trying new things, which is whether it be AI avatars, whether it be games. And you can't tell which will work, you can't tell which won't work. But if you don't spend, the next person will spend, and they will, get ahead of you, because the world today really rewards lateral innovation, which is you're doing something and you're seeing the problem a certain way. Somebody else comes and sees the problem a completely curved way, and they just win, right? I've seen like at least 500 examples of this, right? Probably even more, right? Like all the successful startups you can see are this example of this curved innovation. So I want to start with our distribution. Go down a little bit. Can we go down a little bit? Awesome. So some of you have seen some of our channels. You know my channel. I have an Instagram. I have a YouTube. You've seen AV TV. You've seen we have a channel called AV Video School, which is more for video editing tips and techniques. We have one more for AV called AV TV Daily, which is for news. We have 100x engineers that actually started as an investment. We invested in them. We also helped them get good at YouTube. They weren't very good at YouTube or Instagram. We have one more called Full Disclosure, which is for careers, which is now 423K subscribers. Go down. Go down. Yeah, you'll have to keep the finger on the cursor. We have one called Cyborg Girl. Oh, I can do it too? Oh, amazing. No, I can't actually move the mouse. Oh, okay, cool. Amazing. No, we have a mouse. Let's do what we can do ourselves. We have Mr. Nerf, which is for gaming. The reason we started a gaming channel is because when we put out the first trailer, we just realized there's a gap in like people who are commenting on gaming or people who are making videos on gaming, because it's all like super negative, and we're like, maybe we should bring some positivity to the space. So, you know, we had to solve our own problem, right, in some ways. Um, we have Breakdown, which is for market and venture reports. This was actually something that was sponsored by the Zero One Network for a while. Um, and we still continue it, even though the Zero One Network is kind of shutting down, but we still continue it. We think that for me and my personal curiosities of learning about new markets, and also for a lot of the audience who's like genuinely curious, you want to know in which market what is working, right? Because my entire, like the first 7 8 years of my career, I just built what I found cool, and that was bad. But like the minute I started learning about markets, I learned how to build this intersection of what I find interesting to build and what the market will also reward, right? And of course, we have Papa Hookers, we have Gen Z, we have a bunch more channels than this, but these are the ones that I wanted to show for today. And there's this thing that I see on Reddit all the time, which is like a lie, right? Which is that we use AI across all our content. We don't. We have like our spend on sets. Like I'm talking about physical sets. In fact, if you turn the camera around, there's a set for thumbs up here, right? Tufani Biryani. We have a set which one of our customers. But like we have so many sets that we create, which is like this is the most taxing business to run in terms of like just putting sets together. Now you might ask, Varun, like why would you put a set together? You have like this giant LED screen. But here's the thing, right? Sometimes if you want maximum authenticity, we have to go construct a set. And sometimes we'll be like, well, this transition shot, let's use AI for. So, between all our channels, right? Just to give you some mathematics, we have like 8 to 10 people per channel, right? So most channels are 8 to 10 people. My team is a little bit larger. The Varun Mayya team is maybe 20 people. The AV team is even larger because they do huge sets and huge production. There may be like 25, 30 people. And then they have a separate video school team, which is another, 20, 25 people, which is like AV alone would be like 60 people. But it's like an incredible amount of work that goes in for every video you see, except the short form stuff. The short form stuff at this point is on autopilot. It's still like our thoughts and our ideas, but we know what we're doing there, right? What we're doing there is we're providing a service. We're providing a service to the customer, to the viewer who just wants to stay up to date with tech news immediately, right? They don't want any, bullshit. They just like, in 1 minute, tell me what happened today. What did Claude launch today? How can I use it? Right? So for short form, we try our goal is speed, but for long form, our goal is like how do we put in the maximum effort, whether it be brain power, whether it be physical sets, whether it be going out and shooting something. So it's almost like a company with two different approaches. That doesn't mean we don't use AI in long form. It's just it's not as easy as like press a button on C dance and you get an output and then you put it there, right? Like that never works. It looks like slop. Um, awesome. Like I was telling you, our AI use is pretty controlled. And this is very important, right? The reason I'm telling you this is because there are so many people today who are like, Varun, how do I do what you've done with your AI avatar? How do I make content with just AI? Is there an opportunity? Can I make money off of it? And my answer is always like, yes, but it's a lottery because everybody can do it. Anybody can go open Cdance or VO3 and generate a video and like put a clip of them talking and then put it out, right? Like it's you have to be lucky to win there. But the minute you put in real effort, the minute you're willing to put out a set, or the minute you're willing to get a subject matter expert, get them to sit next to you, whatever it is, right? Like any real world advantage that you have that you can put, trust me, today the audience can see it. Trust me, the right approach if you're running a content company is to really care about your audience. If you care about your audience and you go above and beyond for them, they will be able to tell. Like at least the good ones will be able to tell. And to us, it matters. Production quality, set quality, it all really matters because we know that you guys can tell when we put in the effort. And you also can tell when we don't put in the effort. You also can tell when it's an AI avatar. You can tell all of those things. But on short form, people don't mind because they're just like, give me the news quickly and I'm going to scroll to the next reel. My attention span there only is a minute. But if you're asking for somebody's like 10 minutes of attention span, right, then you have to do really, do outlier content. And the reason 3 4 years ago I started, with content is because I heard a talk by Mr. Beast, right? And he was giving advice to new YouTubers. And he was saying that, do you know that even if I didn't use my face and didn't use my name, and if I shut off comments, and if I shut off likes, I would still be a very successful YouTuber. It's a science. It can be learned. And I was like, I was on Clubhouse once on a space where he was there, right? And he was talking, and in the middle of the conversation, he stops. And he's just like, we can't go down this path because we lose retention. We're going too deep. Let's go back to the surface. Mr. Beast had this like crazy understanding of how much attention span human beings have. So even in a conversation, imagine having a conversation with somebody and just being like, I'm losing the audience here. Let me switch back. I thought it was a magical skill, right? So I would say the real thing that works for the content business that we run is truly the fact that uh, we know when the attention span drops, and we know that people can tell the effort between the difference between effort full content and like quick content, but there's still use cases for quick content, which is where we use maximal AI. Awesome. Cool. Now let's go into education, right? Most of you know that we've been running this thing called AV Video School. Just so you know, AV Video School is now a very, very small part of our PNL. It's like just a tiny part of the business by revenue, because of course the services side has eclipsed it. But still, like I said, I was going back to vertical integration, right? AVTV is kind of uh, our vertically integration, like it's kind of the core resource. It's the rice, right? And by the way, I am seeing your comments. Ashwini is saying you're not seeing comments. I am seeing comments, but I'm just, it's hard to do both things at once. So AV's, been doing a killer job. We've produced 4,500 video editors so far. We have over 1,000 companies in our placement network, which is amazing. It's like probably it's one of the densest. We definitely have a better placement network than most tier 2 and even some tier 1 colleges, right? And I'm telling you one thing, it has nothing to do with our hard work. It has purely to do with supply demand economics. It's just like we were just lucky that we started in this space and suddenly all of you guys started consuming a lot more video, and it just became like very valuable. And we were just like the only we were the only team making the raw materials for an industry that was climbing up very fast. And that's why I was seeing the behind the scenes numbers and like, this is unreal demand. So let's go through some math. Of course, so many companies, different companies, and so many individual creators hire from us. But I just want to run through some math. C7, C8 cohorts, they do, the rough average is about 4.95 lakhs per annum. It's not like the craziest fresher salary, but for a 3-month cohort, for anybody that can upskill, right? Like anyone with like decent ability to use a computer to upskill, these are crazy numbers. C9, C10, which is the recent cohorts, you can look at the uptick, right? So from C7, C8 to C9, C10, it went to 5.10 LPA. And then from alumni salaries, from the limited sample study that we've done, the median is now 6 LPA. The people who earn about 7 LPA, there's 35% of our alumni. The people who earn about 10% of our of LPA, 10 lakhs of LPA are 15% of alumni. And the median salaries at 3+ years. So if you have more than 3 years of experience, you make 9.6 LPA, which I think is really, and of course, there's top earners, which is 25 to 50 LPA, which will be like exceptionals. But I don't want to talk about the top earners. I think everyone, when they go out and they talk about a specific industry, they're always talking about the outliers. If you've seen that diagram of that plane, right? Survivorship bias plane. Similarly, I don't want to talk about outliers, right? I want to set very realistic expectations about where the industry is. It's a good job. Is it like, are you going to make as much money as an ML engineer working at FANG? Absolutely not. But it's realistic and it's very achievable. And it's a very good start for a lot of people. And for us, in a way, it was the kind of core resource that we were producing because, like I said, this is a very, very tiny part of our business, but it's really one of the moats that have become valuable for us, right? So AV actually started something called motion design specialization for like mid-level editors now to go become senior editors. And of course, we worked with like the world's largest AI companies. We also did something really cool with the government. So we did all their now upskilling and creative cohorts for their editing teams internally. We are helping them figure out how to, really create good content, right? So it's odd, but like even the government content will now start looking very AVTV-esque. And of course, crazy amount of, I think the real magic is like people in the cohort who go start their own agencies and who go start their own companies and hire other editors. And remember, the rest of our business, some of these people compete with, but we don't mind. We really think this market, it's like TCS, right? One of these random conglomerates, they have like They have a software services company that still makes 6,000 crores. I think the content industry is that big, right? Like it can be like imagine this TCS, Infosys, all the others, and there's still like these companies making this much money. So I feel like the content industry is truly like become big, like really big. And um, you know, I think I more power to many of these people who are going to go start their own companies and like build their own teams. And of course, we're happy to help them, right? Like the editor is winning in this because they get an offer from us, they get an offer from here, they get an offer from everybody else. It's also led to a lot of poaching with us. A lot of people poach from us, and I always encourage all our competitors like hire from AVTV. Don't poach, the services talent that we have. It makes my life hard. It makes the life of the teams running it hard. Um, but yeah, and of course we did this crazy all hands because I'm a big believer. And somebody told me this recently, and it's absolutely true. Which is that, do you know, if you drop out of college, if you don't go to college at all, the 17, 18, 19-year-old's brain will not socialize. Like adults can socialize. Like a 30-year-old will go out there, put themselves out there, and not that too, not everybody, right? Some of them. They will go out there and they will like socialize. But a 17, 18-year-old, 19-year-old will prefer to sit at home. And while your parents might be very happy with that, it's very dangerous for your brain because you're not making a network. And remember, as time goes by, the saying of your network is your net worth is kind of true. So we knew this. So like a lot of people who are going to be joining us are students who might not be going to college, or like people who have not built that friends network in college. Can we spark that? Can we trigger that? Can it just not just be one more online thing that you study, but like can you go out and like meet people and have friends and have fun and like have stories to tell your children and the next generation and so on and so forth. So we do a lot of these offline, meetups for you guys to hang out because, and like I really want to do events, but like it's just like it's very hard to do events. We only do these, here and there. Devexem, you asked a question. I'll come back to these green questions later. But yeah, we do a lot of offline stuff because we want you to meet each other. Now, I want to go to the next part, which has really been the thing that's scaling for us. This entity is now 300 people. It's called Yas. It's our video content services company. Like I said, we consume our own resources. So when we make editors, the goal is to get the best editors to come work at Yas. Yas actually started with the name YouTube as a service, but now because we also do Instagram and LinkedIn, it's almost like now it's like you are a storyteller or something like that. It's getting retconned internally, which, like I told you, a lot of this, like when you see a company in formation, like when you see in hindsight and when you see it actually forming, it's like two different things, right? So I want you to keep that in mind. Yas runs definitely one of the largest portfolios of brand channels for companies and creator-led IPs, and they're all organic. We don't spend money on boosting any of our videos across, so many channels that we run. And it's like, if you walk into the Yas office or the EOS office, right, you will see this huge everyday executional effort of running hundreds of videos. It's like it's hard, and it's not like it's creative work, right? Because the writer has to write. They have to actually think about what script, what video, and we encourage doing real life, real shooting. So they'll go down, they'll shoot something. Somebody was shooting like a video for one of our customers, this Clear Trip. They were shooting it at our reception desk, right, to show it like an airlines thing. So it's just like it's crazy the amount of like I walk into the office and I'm always energized because always people running around with cameras. And like I said, it's about 300 people, and we create content around everything. We create content around tech, careers, finance, business, blah, 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 blah. It's a huge team now. The cool part is, and like I told you, the market is very large. Every year, I mean, in the last year, we've got maybe 1,000 companies who wanted to work with Yas. We obviously can't take up 1,000 companies. It's a much smaller kind of set of companies we can take up. But, some of the IPs we've built, you've probably seen on the internet. You've seen Atlas, Explorer. You've seen Zerodha Markets. You've seen Zerodha Markets Hindi. You've seen Moneyhook. You've probably seen Clear Trip. And all of these are like tens of millions of views, right? You've seen Builder Central, which is for Zoho. You've seen Sizzle Room, maybe. Hyrox, which everybody was talking about on Twitter. We've contributed along with their team. Peak State, if you've seen Peak State. Fincredibles. Death of PC for Nothing. Vitamin Pop for Vodafone. Lumio for the TV company, who we also invested in because they're like really cool founders. We do a lot of the dubbing stuff for RCB. We do the climate brief for Zerodha. And again, some of these, like we do just the editing or just the production. sometimes the scripting, comes from the team, but it's always very collaborative, right? So it's like we take different roles depending on what we need. But we work with Coca-Cola now because they're starting like this new energy drink called Charged, and so on and so forth, right? I'm not going to go into every one of these, but it's like a huge list, and we're operationalizing another 40 or 50, IPs. And it's like I told you, every IP takes like 8 people. So it's almost like 40 into 8. I need to hire another 300 plus people, and that's just on Yas. The rest of the business will still hire like 50, 60 people per month, right? So it's kind of gotten crazy. And the reason I'm telling you this is to tell you that if you're worried about like where are the jobs, right? How are we going to survive? I think that yes, maybe software, something might happen, right? And it isn't as lucrative. And even video as an industry will have this cycle. It will go down at some point. But I just want to tell you that there is opportunity if you are willing to come work. And I think it's a lot more fun, right? I think it's creative. And we've worked really hard, right? I've worked my balls off. Like, I think not just me, but like the entire team. We worked our lives out over the last 3 years to make this possible. Come take, take advantage of this. There's someone saying, what do you think about Google Jules? But you can ask me once, Faruqi. I'll answer. But anyway, the next thing we do is AOS Labs. Now you might ask, why do you have like an engineering services firm if you have like a content services company, right? Like, why does it make sense? It's actually very simple. Remember I told you these stories about vertical integration? In vertical integration, there always has to be one company that's very focused on increasing the margins of the other companies. It has to be very focused on that. So if you look at the AI avatars that we did, or we have our own tool called Video Vault, which is GitHub for video, we created them primarily at labs to improve the margins of the other businesses. So everything, all the AI use, a lot of the cool projects that we've done internally have all come from labs. That's my experimental engine. I would go mad without labs because it would just be like boring services work. And the only software we build, which is publicly usable, actually it's not even public, you have to call us and then we will set up for you, is Video Vault, which is we have our own GitHub for video. Of course, there's GitHub for code. And it's not just GitHub, right? We've also built the infra for the Git part, which is not as easy as it looks, right? Because you have diffs. Like, diffing in video is very different than diffing in code. And you need to see the difference between the comments between the first iteration of the video and the second iteration of the video. So yeah, we use this. It's battle tested on thousands of videos. And of course, you've seen some of the stuff that we've built, right? You've seen some of our AI in painting work. We never sell these tools. We stopped selling software. It's just like this $9, $10 software business doesn't work. You start doing it, next guy will sell it for free, right? So I really think, and by the way, yes, I am going to do a Q&A at the end of this, right? But yeah, like Labs has done a lot of client projects. Ideally, I don't want them to ever do client projects, but for the motivation of the team that's there, they need to pick these up. They're very good at what they do. I would love for them to experiment all the time, but they need to make money. So they've done a lot of projects. You've probably seen the deepfake UGC campaign we did with IPF. Today there was a news, I think, around Namma 112. You can just Google it, Namma 112, which is if you dial 112 in Bangalore, which is the police helpline, and you can't speak English, there's an AI bot that answers now, which is definitely going to save some lives. Which is, we built it, we spent some time building it, we built it on top of either Gemini or ChatGPT. I don't remember. It's been like years. This project was started like maybe 2.5, 3 years ago. It just recently went live. So of course, everything when it comes to government or like police or whatever, it takes some time. But yeah, like engineers who worked on this have they're really helping save lives, right? Versus like building the next random app. And again, this is just like at the application layer, we're not building foundational models, but still wherever we can find use cases, we've built it. So we have like tons of different use cases here. Then we have Prime Select. We started doing influencer marketing, but we only do like maybe 1 out of every 10 campaigns. And the main reason we do this is because, it's just like companies already spend so much time and energy with us. It makes sense for us to help them with that last piece that they were anyway going to do. We also started doing AI films. I'm not like most excited about AI films. We do it for customers, mostly for performance ads. We did the Nothing IPL title sponsorship film, which was on in theaters. We've done a bunch of stuff. Like I like the idea of volume, like doing a lot of creatives, because in performance, like I feel like some of that audience is like just scrolling so fast that you just need like crazy visuals to hook them for a few seconds. It's not as much about storytelling when you're producing 30 creatives a month. um, and it is interesting. It's still early, even though they have a body of work. It's still I find it very early. Lastly, and I want to talk about this. This is my most favorite part. It's basically 3 years ago, 2 years ago. Uh, Rohan was my brother, was working at Y Combinator. He was running a YC startup. He had raised money from them. He's a YC alum, and I called him and I said, "I think we should make a game." And he said, "You're out of your mind." But here's the science, right? The science, or the science is the wrong word. Here's the evidence. The evidence is that most of you don't know that I have another channel called Varun Mayya Level 2. Okay? You can YouTube it, Varun Mayya Level 2. Where like 5 or 6 years ago, I taught Unreal Engine. I taught like 50 episodes for free. Not didn't even ask for a dollar in return, right? Or a rupee in return. And the reason I taught this is because I've always been very interested in making games. I'm the ultimate gamer. Like I love gaming. I have like some tens of thousands of hours of time in Dota. And I said we should be able to make a game. And this is very ironic because if you go to my channel, there's a video from maybe 6 months before the time I started, which said India can never make a AAA game. But I think everyone gets the math wrong. And I think people really underestimate the fact that today everything is available. You can learn anything, right? And as a company, we have now enough cash flows for us to attempt like really hard things. And there's two kinds of people in the world, right? There are the kinds of people who go out there and like, just rent seek. They already have something that's working. They're like, okay, let's me maximize this. And there's another kind of person who is like, let me take this and let me prove myself once again. And I'll tell you what, I love being the second kind. In a way, I feel like all of you. Like I feel exactly like you, which is that you're trying to prove yourself, right? You're still in that stage where you're like, I want to prove myself. I want the world to recognize who I am. I want to make money in this new thing that I'm doing. Like it's all of it. But mainly it's about prove yourself, right? That you're competent. And I think that was the intent for us with games. And I was like, no matter what happens, we're going to make a good game, right? Even if it's financially unsuccessful, right? You can never predict financial success. And as luck would have it, we put out our first trailer. Reactions very mixed. A lot of people said, this looks like garbage. Of course, it is an early alpha, but it looks like garbage. The other half said, well, I haven't seen something like this in India. Because remember, this is like photogrammetry scans, right? So it'll always look, at least the buildings, the environment will look a lot more realistic than everything else. But then after the first trailer, there was some reaction in China. So, and not just China, but across the world. And we said, the world is this place where if you genuinely have something bad, it will never go viral. It will just never work. No, but like, people will just ignore something that's genuinely bad. If there's some amount, like little pepper amount of promise in it, then like it's rare. It's hard to get like any attention in anything, right? So we said, let's work our asses off for the next 6 months. Let's hire the best C++ engineers we can find. Let's hire like really good artists, people who worked on Ghost of Tsushima and Hogwarts Legacy and whatnot. Let's like leave no stone unturned. Let's get the best team we possibly can. Let's get animators from Flash and Shazam, the movies, and let's just put them all together and let's build this new genre of game, which is basically the Bollywood Souls-like. And I wouldn't even call it Souls-like; it's a Sekiro-like. And like people, like even now, there are people who like Bollywood Sekiro-like. It's that look. It's like that's cringe, bro. That it won't work. But here's the thing I've learned about the world after 14 years of being an entrepreneur. The world really cares not about good or bad. The world cares about different, right? So we're trying our best to do something different. And some of you have seen, this Twitter screenshot, this screenshot that we put on Twitter. And we have another trailer coming out, but most of you might not know this because you're not sitting on Bilibili, which is a Chinese social media, which is on IGN China. Can we open that? You can open that. Can I change this tab? Is it like tab linked? It's tab linked, right? Okay, let's do this. Let's go to Bilibili. So this is, sorry, let's search is not English search. One second. So if you look at this, sorry, let's, sorry, it's just, so if you go to most played on IGN China, this is IGN China, right? Their largest gaming network in China. We are number one, two, three, four, five, six in most played. This is most played. I don't know what the term, I can't read Chinese, but I know this is most played when you turn on the translator. And it's got like 4.7 million views. It's got 55,000 comments, and the comments have turned positive. So you can actually go check it out. You can actually click this link and read the comments. Um, and I think that's pretty cool, right? Because it's like we've never had a breakout game that's got attention anywhere. And I know we still have to make the game, we still have to finish it. And I want to talk a little bit about the technology behind it. But uh, but yeah, this is like crazy. This more than anything, this, I was going to go broke, right? And this said, well, at least this is a reason for you to go broke and do this, which I think is really cool, right? Because I think we have like this generation of like people on the internet who like talking about intention. Boss has this great article, right? You are not what you intend to be. You're not like, a lot of people are like, oh, but I'm a passionate gamer. You know, if I did this, I would do this like this. I'm just like, and even Boss has this viewpoint on this, which is that actually, if you spend 2 years of your life commentating, you're a commentator, right? We have spent the last 18 months of our life struggling to learn every part of making a game, from the motion capture to building the combat systems to building, like, everything is hand built here, right? To scanning thousands of assets from this place called Chanderi. And most people don't know this, but like, I did a video after this in China. People don't know this, but like, we did this video in China with sorry, this video. I had a technically this sort of live stream, not live, but like pre-recorded stream in China, which has 2.5 million views, 19,000 comments, which is just like the level of interest for something. Like I told you, it's not about good or bad, it's about different. And I'll tell you, one of the cool things I liked about the comments is all I went there and said was that we want to try our best and we want to keep getting better. It doesn't matter if we fail. And it's actually true, right? It doesn't matter if we fail. Like, even if I have to lose an insane amount of money to do this, we still want to give it our best shot. Because ultimately, the world, forget about the world. Ultimately, I want to prove myself, right? I want to prove this is possible. And it's a journey we've set out on. Maybe we win, maybe we lose. I would love your support. But even without it, we will give it our best shot, right? And what you guys are really going to like is that we have a new trailer going out in maybe a week or two, which hopefully I will show you all. And you'll see the level of progress we've made on things like combat, animation, world building. And I can't reveal the story, but it's like, it's crazy. And we're trying to do some really cool things, right? We're trying to get some really famous voice actors. I can't spoil who, but someone who I've grown up listening to, because a lot of people had this feedback on the last video that the voice acting wasn't great, which is true. And you know, with making games, every single thing will get like picked apart. Like every single thing, you can't show, even in an early alpha trailer, you cannot show a single thing that's not perfect, right? So we're like, if the goal is perfect, let's get there, whatever that takes. Um, I want to tell you a little bit of behind the scenes on the technology, um, which is that we have our own combat engine now. It's called Cora. It's built in C++. The idea was that if we want to make, if you've played a Souls like or a Sekiro like, if you want to make bosses that feel really good to play against, you absolutely need to make your iteration speed very high, right? So what we did was, because in C++ there's a compile time of like 15 seconds. Like, what if we exposed the most important calls from our combat system to Lua? It's a scripting language. I don't know how many of you have heard of Lua, but Lua is a scripting language. So like, what if we expose that and then took a crack at iteration? So that's what we've been using. You'll see it in the next demo. And you'll see, right, with everything now, like when we do motion capture, we even track like the Gada. We have like this makeshift Gada. Can you give me the Gada? Gada? The lighter one. And this combat system, like, we spent like more than a year on it. Right? This is like a tracked Gada. You can see the tracking markers on it. So you'll get now accurate weight. The gada lags, right? Like when you slam something, it has to lag behind, right? So just getting the accuracy of that, making sure that's anchored to the hand, and having it all happen real time. So we have our own James Cameron S setup where you can see all of this real time on a TV in front of you. So if there's a combat move going on, we place it right behind the character where it needs to be, and then we do the move, right? Which is, I would say, I'm fairly confident nobody else in India is doing it, right? But it's a treat to watch, and for a lot of, we do this with a lot of students now, where we let them come to our office, see our game infra, see what we do, see how sit through a mocap session, sit with our engineers sometimes. They also help us with like very critical feedback, but at the same time, it's just like we just wanted to get better. It's like every week, can we get better than last week? Right. So we've done this with trailers as well, right? Like when you see the third trailer, you'll be like, this looks so much better than the second trailer. This feels so much better than the second trailer. Um, awesome. And of course, like it is authentic India. We've gone and scanned thousands of assets from Chanderi, which is like a film town at this point. So you get a line producer, you block out many different buildings, and then you go scan them from the outside. So everything, the walls, the pillars, everything that you go through and like you come in front of in the game is going to be real and authentic, right? It's actually a scanned asset which has been optimized. It's been decimated to put in front of you in the game. And you're really going to like the upgrades we've done in VFX. In fact, in the second trailer, if I have like my own feedback on the second trailer after I saw it was like, this is good, but it requires much better VFX. And there's this thing which people don't get it. They call it animation, but it's wrong. It's game feel. Okay. Which is that when somebody slams something down, you need the camera to shake. And you need to ease in. Like you need to do like hit the floor and then ease in out back into frame, right? And also AAA quality cameras. Not saying we're a AAA game, but AAA quality cameras are placed slightly differently, and the spring arm is also a little bit different than regular far away camera. So it's like it's just there's a lot of game feel that we just didn't work on. Game feel is very close to VFX. So like, does blood come out? Do you feel like your hits are impacting the enemy? Is there like small things, right? Like on the dev kit, is there vibration on the controllers? So we really, really, really focused on that. Like we're gonna. I basically told my team, I'm gonna lock you guys in the room, including me, until we solve this, until we figure it out. And I think they've done it. So I can't wait for you guys to see the trailer. You'll see how much of the improvement we've made in cinematics as well. We can now do live cinematics. So we can live mocap. And it feels really strange to wear the mocap suit and move your muscles around and feel, in a much bigger character. I don't have that many muscles, but like if you see in a much bigger character, the muscles moving around, it just feels really cool. Right. So we can also perfect rigging and skinning, uh, you know. Anyway, cool. There's a few other things we've been doing, which is that most people don't know this, but I'm now like a part-time venture partner, which is actually the true meaning of the word venture partner, right? Which is like somebody with a full-time job or somebody with like running their own company, but has a little bit of time to look at investments. So there's a fund called the Activate Fund. It's a $90 million fund now. Actually, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. Might have to clip it out later. But yeah, it's an AI fund for India, which is run by Akrit and Pratyush. They're like fantastic people, and we're happy to help them and many of their companies with scaling in terms of like how do you approach the market, how do you think about scale. And of course, we made a lot of investments. We made investments in Lumio. We've made, of course, 100x engineers. We put $50,000 in a company called Headshot, which is like this mobile gaming controller. We put some money in Temple, which is, of course, India's boldest founder, in my opinion, DP. And of course, we've invested in other game studios. We invested in Light Fury. We think they're going to do a good job making cricket. And of course, some of these may work, some of these might not work, but it's okay. Like the goal is to support the ecosystem as best as we can. No one's going to die with money. And I think it's important for you before you leave to leave as much of a mark as possible and help as many people as you can get their shot, right? And as it goes with the rule with shots, right? Like you're supposed to start and then you meet halfway, right? So that's the idea. Some of these will be really cool companies in the future. Some of them will die, but that's like part of the game. Anyway, I'll tell you what we're doing for 2026. And this is the part which is important for you, right? Which is I think I want to tell you how the world is going to change in 2026, both for us as well as for you, right? This is very, very important. Um, for us, it's about hiring leadership talent. I am fundamentally going mad, like doing so many things. I have really good talent to help me do these things. I'm actually like at this point the stupidest person in the company, right? Because my context window is like fully clogged with like hundreds of things that I'm thinking about. So I want to hire good leaders who can come in and help us with different things. Um, and It could be anybody. It could be anybody. Like as long as you have some operating experience, we'd love to hire you. We'd love to work with you. And it's not all perfect, right? It's not all roses. You'll come in here, there'll be like problems, there'll be leaks, there'll be something will be going wrong. Startup, right? We're a startup that's now starting to like get into this like slightly largerish territory where we really need help. So it's like the entire reason I did the live stream is like, come help us, right? And that's why I do the 16 katas as well. It's like there's also a selfish element which is please come work with me, and we'd love to let you unleash your perfect self there, right? Unleash your avatar in the company. Um, awesome. We're going to do some offline events. We've really seen so much value in like people meeting each other. Like I told you, ultimately I'm 33 now. There's so many 20-year-olds who we need to give that shot to. But if we can't see them, if we can't discover them, and if it's just like always like a pitch or like a DM or something like that, it's very hard. It's very hard to get a read on should we like work with this person in some way or form or fashion, right? The next thing we're going to do, and offline events is a good way for those people to like make businesses with each other or for us to meet them and so on and so forth. The next thing is we're doing something called Neko, which is we're going to get into clipping. It's an investment for us right now, but might mature into like something that I spend my time on. Clipping is getting really big in the US. I think all major new creators are going to start doing clipping. And finally, this year will probably be the first year we go multi-office. We go do, Mumbai office. Yeah, that's about it. The reason we wrote this report is to tell you that, we want to share with like budding entrepreneurs. We want to like tell you, bear all and tell you everything we're doing, the state of everything. Some are like very, very, very mature. Some like the game dev unit are like, we'll figure it out. But I think there's like, I've never been more bullish, and it's not something I'm saying for the sake of saying it, but like I've never been more bullish on India. I've never been more bullish on the talent that we're seeing here. Like every time I travel abroad, like it's nothing against them, but like they're tired now. They're like post money now. They're tired, and there's no I can't see as much energy as I see in India. The kind of energy I see in some of these chats, I think it's crazy. And now I'm gonna pay attention and look at the chat. Sorry, somebody was saying, why aren't you paying attention? So now we'll pay attention to the chat. Thank you so much, for spending time on the state of EOS. Okay, awesome. So let's now pay attention to the chat. Let's do Q&A, and let's help you guys out, because one of the reasons I want to do live is I actually want to spend time with you guys as well and see how many of these problems I can solve. Because believe it or not, any problem you have at the scale we're at is probably fairly repeatable. There'll probably be 10 or 20 people who have the same problem, right? So let's see if we can help as many people as we can. Awesome. Let's start. Can we slow down the chat? Let me go through one by one with all these. Let's first go through the paid stuff. This feels like, to be very honest, like anyone paying for the chat makes me feel really bad. I don't know, it just feels like it's like I'm playing guitar on the road and like people are throwing money or something like that. Anyway, how do you think the university education will change in the next 5 years? And also how to visit your game studio on visits. Very interesting seeing how it works. So I keep announcing these on Twitter once in a while come visit us. I always do this before the general public gets an eye in on trailers. So we'll host one soon. How do you think the university education system will change in the next 5 years? I have a very I really can't tell. You can shut down the state of chaos. We don't need that. Yeah, you can remove this. Yeah. So I think the university system will not change fundamentally too much in the next 5 years. And I think that is to their detriment, because if you look at what's happening with AI, now things are changing every 3 months. Like the way to do an anime with AI when we did it was really hard work, right? And I remember I made a comfy UI workflow that people in Japan were sharing and stuff, but like That's over now. Now you can do one click. So if it changes, can you just remove this? It's yeah. Um, I need to go to chat. So I really think that they're going to become very irrelevant. And imagine this, right? You're entering college. You have to do 4 years or 5 years of college. And what will the world be then? And you're learning a syllabus that was made 5, 10 years ago. It's quite dangerous. But once again, I need to tell you that college gives you this crazy thing of putting you together with friends. And that is a valuable service. And when you pay for a college, you're actually paying for the kind of alumni that comes there and the quality of teachers. Actually, that's the infrastructure, quality of teachers, quality of alumni. But I think there will be new colleges that come where the curriculum just does change every few months. People learn something and get attached to it. Um, I think that's going to change. I don't know. I don't know how it will look, but I'm also sure some of these universities will do new stuff. Like I'm already seeing some new age universities come out and do cool stuff, right? So I don't know how it's going to change, but it definitely, as a student, you'll have to choose between going to a college with a 10-year-old syllabus and a brand new syllabus changing every 3, 4 months. Board Cord asks, how have playing games changed, helped you building mental models? Okay, I'll explain this, right? Like in Age of Empires, if you've ever played Age of Empires 2, how many of you played Age of Empires 2? How many of you have played Age of Empires 2? Basically, in Age of Empires 2, there's this idea of knowing how much time a task takes, right? So if you send a person from one place to another part of the map, you need to know how much time it takes, right? Let's say it takes like 1.5 minutes for a person to go from one side, let's say a scout to go from one side of the map to the other. You send the person, and then at the same time, you send a villager, you queue another villager to start production, you send a villager to build a house, and in your mind at every given point of time you have a list of tasks. Like the pro players have no idle villagers, right? And at the same time they have some scouts who are going out there trying to find which side of the camp is exposed of the opponents, right? Especially the wood villagers, you go and harass them a little bit, right? um, and I think that's very important because even in the real world, what I'm doing essentially is I'm queuing tasks, right? I'm like, there's a bunch of tasks I've given, like let's say an AVTV, there's a bunch of tasks I've given a YAS, so on and so forth, and it's like it's all queued. And today there's so much good leadership there that I don't even need to queue tasks. In fact, at this point, they will queue some tasks for me, and they'll be like, Varun, we need you to do this for the business. So it's that, and I'm running these clocks in the head, and we don't let anything be idle. Um, Separately, I think one of the things I've really learned from Dota, which I think is the most important thing I've learned from Dota, Dota is not a game of skill. Yes, skill is important, obviously, but like I think it's a game of morale. Because in Dota, like if you go steal, if as a support you go steal one creep, or some support steals one of your creeps, there are people in the game who will just tilt. I think the biggest problem with Dota, the game, is tilting, which is somebody has some bad incident happen to them and then they just like give up on the game. And I think the real world is like Dota. There'll always be setbacks. There'll always be something wrong. There'll be some reason the other guy has more farm than you. But like the best players, like they don't tilt. They go back. They died once. They're like, okay, control yourself. Don't die any more times. But the worst players, once they die once, they'd go die 10 times in a row. Right? Teamwork is very hard. Your team won't listen to you. And it's like when I'm playing Dota, half the time I'm like coaching my team. I'm like, I don't play it as much anymore, but I'm like, hey, wow, you've done such a good job at this. Wow, great, ulti. Even though it'll be like something very lukewarm or like half decent, but I'm motivating, I'm gassing them up, right? Because ultimately, and you'll see this with all the carries of the games, right? When you're young, you want to be carry. But any team captain of any professional Dota team is a support player. So I think I play best when I'm support because I get to like really make these plays happen. And I would say with my companies, I'm no longer carry or even like any other role, but like I'm playing support, right? I'm like, where can I help? What can I do to help? You guys are the ones running this. Awesome. Sudhir sends a message and it says message retracted for $20. Sudhir, I think you wasted like $20. Okay, let's go to the next one. In an AI first world, is thinking becoming more valuable or less? I think definitely more valuable because the entire point of AI is to, with LLMs specifically, is to surface the statistically likely. And the reason I say this is because diffusion models have a brain of their own. Like their outputs are very different from transformer based LLMs. But like I think that most people using AI will be generic. Do you know one thing? You don't want to see an AI generated Tinder profile. You don't want to see an AI generated like Excel sheet. You don't want to see an AI generated person, applying to your job. You don't want to see AI generated comments. The only place, like there are like two, three places where AI is very useful, like some of this like news content. Like you don't mind AI aggregating news. We see this with all the like text news providers. You see this with my AI avatar as well. You don't mind AI aggregating news because you're getting like wherever you want speed, AI is fine to use. Wherever people want creativity, AI is like it should be part of the process, can't be the entire process. You can use AI like in spoons across the entire like process that you have, right? And I think this is very critical to understand because everyone's going to be regurgitating AI generated stuff. And you really, it's so easy to differentiate yourself today. Just do something different, right? I know people who like generate something with AI and just like screw up two, three words to make it sound like it's not AI. So the the effort and energy that people are spending to not look AI is very high. And I think there's a very easy way to do it. Just write or talk the way you usually do. Dictate if you need to. Um, but yes, like you definitely need to use your own thoughts. Okay, somebody said, have you explored crowdfunding in India, especially like Kickstarter? I would never raise money from the crowd in India. I'm in my 30s. Like, there's no way I'd do it. It's very simple, right? It's the same reason we won't go IPO. It's I don't want to deal with the psychopathy of the market. I don't want to deal with like 1,000 people telling me what to do because often the hard part is like looking at new ideas and problems. Like when we did video editing, like all my founder friends were like, "What are you doing? You're wasting your time. Who cares about video editing? कितना कितना मिलेगा? 5,000, 10,000? क्यों कर रहा है? You can do so much more. You can build this app and do this and whatever." I was like, but those are getting commoditized. So they didn't listen. And we had this tiff. Like I had this small period where like I was kind of earning their trust by doing something very unorthodox, right? Or not trust, but like earning their respect, even though they might not have, they might have thought I was doing something stupid. I think this is critical because you need these are called lateral ideas. You need these lateral ideas. Um, the problem with crowdfunding is now there are like 10,000 people telling you go in this direction. So pivoting becomes hard and you need pivot. You need to pivot to run a business, dude. Like every 3 years, the world is changing. Like if you ran like, let's say, an AI app to do something, like let's say we ran God in a Box, right? God in a Box went very viral in Spain. Most people don't know this. We had like millions of users on God in a Box. But like 6 months later, Meta shut it down. It's like, then you have to pivot, right? Like, so imagine if you crowdsourced or crowdfunded for that. So I just don't want, I don't mind taking money from people who really understand this way, right? Because I'm like very high integrity with the money. But I just feel like people won't get it and I won't find those right investors. That's why we decided to bootstrap. And this point, like, even when we invest in companies, we're like, like we're investing in the company knowing we're writing off money. We know that this is probably not going to work. But it's like we want to support like good founders who we trust. And that part matters the most, right? Good founders who we trust. So if we know somebody and they've spent 2 years with us, even though there might be like a much better founder from the outside who might have much better things, unless they have a lot of work history and a lot of proof, and we don't invest much money, right? It's still like all these numbers that I'm telling you is much smaller than what a traditional VC would invest. They'll invest millions of dollars. We don't do that. But still we look for people we know well, right? It's the trust is like most underrated currency in the world. And with crowdfunding it's just like I don't know if they'll understand what I'm doing, and I don't want to like wake up to abuses every day, right? Like it happens with a lot of people. Like crowdfunding, if you do well, everyone's like, wow, genius, I was also involved. If it does badly, you become like, even though it might not have been your fault, you get into problems. uh, okay, let's go through all of these, right? uh, Hi Varun, big fan of your work. Same as you, were working on a fantasy game. We would like to show you when it finishes. By the way, I'm 23, running profitable bootstrap startup. Please let you know how to reach us. um, you can DM me. The problem is today, if you're doing anything very different, I'll notice. Like even if it's not very good, I'll notice. So sometimes I'll see like a YouTube trailer of some game coming out, and I'm just like, I'll DM the founders. I'll be like, is there a way we can do something together, right? So you have to do something different to get anybody's, not just mine. Like mine attention is not as important, right? But like to get anybody's attention, I think you need to do something different. But DM me, take a shot. You should always shoot your shot. Um, awesome. Sir, I have a new Hindi tech channel idea for EOS. I have 6 years of experience. I want to join you for this. I can handle all the production. How do I contact you? Um, we don't do Hindi channels. Like we do some for clients, but we don't do any Hindi channels for ourselves as our media network because I feel like there are lots of people who do it much better than us. I don't like that audience is better served by people who have more experience serving that audience. And we know what we're really good at and what we're not so good at, and also we're not as passionate as. So I might maybe in the future we'll do more Hindi channels, but right now there's no interest from us to do this. But at the same time, on the Yas side, we do a lot of Hindi channels for customers, right? Because they have that interest and they have that passion and they're spending on it. So uh, definitely apply to Yas if you want to monetize your skill in some way, right? I think the email is work@yas.studio, something like that. I think that's the placement email. Um, cool. This has become Shark Tank. Somebody is like pitching their startup. Hey, Varun, pitching my startup here. We are, 1 second. We are Salk AI, building product with the idea that future all AI ads will be generated. Currently, we are helping brands create meta ads by generating best performing competitors ads through AI. Interested? Uh, Man, this is going to be a very competitive field, and I think Meta itself is going to compete with you. And I have PTSD from just being outcompeted in some spaces by large tech, by big tech, right? Like competing against a Meta or a Discord or a WhatsApp, these are all like very dangerous. And yes, you can build something very small, but like then what's the purpose of investment, right? You might as well do it bootstrapped and like make all the money yourself, because these are not businesses that require a lot of money to run. These are businesses that require you to be different in some way. So what is the differentiator is the most important thing, right? For me. Okay, this is a good question. I think this is going to help everybody, right? Rohan Raju asks, I'm stuck in a loop of consuming, switching paths, and not going deep. How do I pick one direction, commit hard, and scale marketing with AI business without losing focus after initial failures? Okay, remember what I told you about tilt. In games, there's the concept of tilt. You'll see this in every game, right? Any game, like poker, Dota, any game. Tilt is where you had a bad beat or you had like a bad play or something unfair happened to you, and now you lost your mind, right? Like you're playing in this sense of aggression, not like you're not like thinking calmly. And I think what, like in games I tilt sometimes, but in the real world I rarely tilt, right? I'm very calm. Like even when 10 things are burning in the office, I'm like, okay, I'll solve them one by one. And I think this is a developed skill. Okay, now this idea of consuming, switching paths, and not going deep is actually a symptom of tilt, which is that you tried one thing, okay, and it didn't work out. But all the best entrepreneurs, in my opinion, they are okay with trying something for 2 years, having it not work out, take the base lessons from it, carry it on to the next thing, and so on and so forth. In my opinion, it takes like 10 years to be a successful entrepreneur in India, because India is very different from the US. And anyone like looking at US advice will not do very well in India. Anyone like coming from an old school business family in India can't adapt easily to the new rules of new business in India. It's very different. Like it's like the way to do marketing and all. I don't think old companies get it very well. So it's like you have to learn it yourself. So you have to do like many years of lessons of like, oh, this works, oh, this doesn't work, oh, this is what people think, this is what people say, oh, this product, it will work, but it has these nuances, or this product will easily get competed with. So I think I'll give you the opposite advice. Go crazy, like just go experiment without tilt. Like run a project for 2 months, see whether it works or not. Even if it doesn't work, don't lose enthusiasm. Do the next one. If it doesn't work, do the next one. Do the next one. If you keep your motivation for like 5 or 6 of these cycles, I guarantee one of those 5 or 6 will work, right? And I'll tell you one thing: the world is designed with distractions. It's actually very unfair to people who are young, and I was also a victim of this, right? Like there's so many distracting things when I was young. Should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do this? But remember that so is everybody else, no? Everybody else is also distracted and confused. But finding the path is tough, because which of these paths is correct? You don't know. Like the grass is green on the other side always exists. Sometimes I feel like the solution to this is to work with somebody who you admire or trust for a while in your career, because then you get to at least see one path play out, and there are lots of generalizable concepts that you can take even if you're going to a different field. Like even if you worked with us for a while, and you went and worked in real estate after this, there's still some generalizable concepts that you can take from what we do into another, totally different field. So maybe work with somebody else, uh, because they path lock you, right? They say you have to do this. But don't lose motivation after doing one thing. Like when you say, I pick a direction, commit hard, and if it fails, just keep going. Awesome. Let's take the next question. I was in the game dev cohort and I'm working on turning katas into a game. It's not ready yet, but I will send it to you in a few days. Hopefully you like it. I think it's very cool that you can now make, like, I'm not talking about the games like Unleash the Avatar, but like I'm talking about like simple games you can now cloud code it. And I'll tell you, there are two kinds of game developers I've seen in India, right? There's one that's very gatekeeping-esque, right? Which is that, oh, look at me, we have made games for 20 years. How dare new entrants exist? And then there's me, which is that I think everyone should be able to make anything they want. Like like even in art, I see this a lot, right? There's so much gatekeeping. And I'm just like, that's not how the world should work. Anyone should be able to make what they want. Right? There is no magic rule that you have the sense of self, that you have the ability to self-express yourself and another person doesn't. You might say, well, I spent so much time learning the skill. No, you learned a tool. And those tools change over time. They get easier over time. Like if you had to make art 5,000 years ago, you'd have to go to some, island and pick up indigo, this thing, and then make colors out of it, and then find something that can double up as a paintbrush, and then find something that can double up as a canvas. You know how hard it was? That's why they made art in caves, right? So I would say the tools are anyway getting easier, right? So I think with games today, I think Claude Code is there. You can build a 3JS game very quickly. I would love to see the katas in a game. It reinforces whatever lessons that people are like learning, right? So I would love actually for all lesson, everything. You go take the textbook, take a 10th standard textbook and make a game out of every chapter. I promise you, people will pass their exams with much better colors. Because we learn better from doing, right? So if you make a game and there's a game for me to do some experiment, or for me to learn buoyancy through a game, or learn Bernoulli's principle through a game, why not? Why not make games for everything and put a USB disk at the end of USB drive at the end of the textbook, in the textbook, or just replace the textbook. Tell them it's completely online now. You can do this with the entire syllabus, honestly. The only thing is schools don't pay very well. So you cannot sell this to schools. You probably have to sell this to parents or make it free. I've built a promising AI native consumer app and sorted out everything from product angle. Marketing muscle is so weak. I don't have any marketing plan while pitching to investors. Guys, there are two ways, okay? Either you have money and you're running marketing, you're running ads, or you build your own channel and have your own distribution. These are the only two methods. Otherwise, no one's going to care about you. Actually, there are three ways. Either you build something so different that by virtue of it being different, creators like me will cover you for free. Like, for example, somebody built maybe 2 years ago, they built some open source tool was there, right? Like which some kid had built. And I covered it completely free. We just put out a reel about it because it's different. It was new, it was different. So either it's new and different, and all media has an incentive to cover it because the audience likes looking at new and different, or you spend on ads if it's old and undifferentiated, or you build your own distribution. You build your own channel if you want to do it for free. These are the only three ways. I can't think of any other ways. So I would say, and all investors will want you to do one of these first before you go to them. Which is why the creator to founder path is today the only path, in my opinion, that you can take with zero cost. Or you're doing something very, very new, very, very different. But creator to founder, in my opinion, is the only path viable today where you don't need to have like crazy amount of money to do it. Like I was watching this thing about Raj Shamani. A lot of people are like, oh, Raj Shamani is successful because of his parents or whatever. Maybe true to keep him afloat. But I don't think a Vijay Mallya will go on a podcast just because somebody's parents asked them to come. Even me, I've been on Raj's podcast, like when he had an audio podcast many, many years ago. I say no to most podcasts. I went there because he has views. Every brand, every person who comes to his podcast comes because of views, right? And I can guarantee he's making far more money from the creator career than anything any parent, anyone could have given, right? This is because this game, the creator game is new. It's not a legible game. It's not like we don't know the career track yet. It's now starting to get formed, right? We don't know that you do 4 years. There's no, that path doesn't exist for this anymore. or yet it doesn't exist yet for this. So I think somebody like a Raj's path, we look at it and maybe something bad is like some weird stuff has happened behind the scenes, but I don't think it's true. I know the creator path pretty well. He did 4 videos a week for God knows how many years. It started working. His nearest competitor went and committed career suicide, um, which you can't predict sometimes, right? Like sometimes you go to a show, say some stupid things, people still be fine. But like his nearest competitor, like removed himself from the race. Um, so Raj just happened to be there, ready, prepared for the opportunity to fall into his lap. Um, and I really don't think you can rewrite the story as this happened because of parental wealth. So I do think that yes, parental wealth might have been important for him to float till that point, which is, of course, there's some people who need to get a job immediately, and I fully understand and sympathize with those people as well. But there are lots of people with parental wealth who are not India's number even 1 to 10 podcasters, right? So kudos to it. So I just feel that, and the reason I was making this point is because I forgot why I was making it, but what was I making the point for? Anyway, I forgot. But I was making this point because these are illegible paths, right, which you can't see. So we always put it as something else. Um, okay, follow up on education. I'm trying to build in this space, helping universities adapt. I'm confident it has potential. It's called Bitwise. I'll tell you the problem. Every year that passes, one of the things I have to actively fight, and I'm self-aware, so I'm fighting it, is the body and the mind try to become set in their ways. So in my 30s, I'm much less flexible than I was in my 20s cognitively. What I mean by that is I don't like new ideas as much as when I was in my 20s. As a consumer, I like new ideas. But if you make me change my routine or my, what I do, I don't essentially like it, right? In my 40s, it'll be worse. Now imagine dealing with 50-year-old bureaucrats, how you pronounce it. It's even harder. Okay. If you look at the government today, there's lots of like really young people in the government, right? And they're like doing some like those are the people who are pushing the government forward, right? Like because we've done some interesting explorations with them. So I really feel like the challenge here is not building the tool or the technology. The challenge here is how do you get the university to give you money, and how do you stay afloat? So that's challenging. Okay, how do you decide which channel or Instagram page to start? It's the same way we do business. It's the thing. People think it's actually the other way around. I learned business, how to actually run a business from content. Content works when you make a channel that's unsaturated, like in a niche that's unsaturated, some new niche. Like let's say you made a channel around gardening today, and or maybe you made a channel around in old Indian weapons. Now, of course, the channel needs to have enough videos for you to run it over several years. But like the path is always you do the niche, you get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then broaden out into a more generic category, and then broaden out to all the categories. Right? Today, if you want to get into fitness, you probably have to get in like laser sharp into one space, get to like 20, 30K followers, then broaden out and say, now I'm doing, all of gym, and then broaden out even more to say, now I'm going to talk about gym and food. Right? This is important to broaden out like that, but you have to start with the niche. This is super critical. How do you decide one? Man, that depends on your life. What is it that you do in your life that nobody else does? Right? That is the secret to, I mean, for me, it's easy, right? Like I run a business in the real world. I use these AI tools in the real world. We are doing AI application. We're building AI applications. So for us, it's like very straightforward what we do and what I make content on. So similarly, you need to find out what part of your day, and this is a cool thing. Go put yourself out there. Go do new stuff. When you do new stuff, you'll get new ideas for content. Right? I think there's like maybe pickle or paddle, like their new pickleball and paddle, the new sports, right? Like which everyone's playing. Maybe there should be a dedicated like tutorials and tips channel for it. Right? But you need to put yourself out there. You need to do those new things first, and then you'll be like, oh, I have a good content idea. But I'll tell you one thing, content is the most exhausting like type of work you can do. It's always easy to look at content creators and be like, wow, they're making so much money. But honestly, look at their life. 4 5 years of their life, they've done like 4 5 videos a week. And then for what? For like a 5% chance that it'll work out? It's just like, yeah. So like if you're doing paddle videos, you need to do like hundreds and hundreds of videos. Do you have the stamina to do 300 videos around paddle a year? If you do, then do it. But like that, you first put yourself in those new situations and then, you know, take it. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, cool. I'm going to skip this one. Someone said, built a VS Code debugger that finds root causes in 8 seconds, MCP server next week, so Claude Code and Cursor autocall it on errors. Solo founder building vertical integration for the AI era. Love you. And I like the ending, right? He said, love you. Love you too, bro. You know, this is what I love. I love like true builders. Like anyone who's a true builder, there is just love for another builder. Like it doesn't matter. You could be like 16 years old and building this. I still like have that, like as a bro, I have like love and respect for you for the fact that you're building this, that you're trying. Fight mar raha hai, yaar. Like it's so like beautiful to watch. And it doesn't matter. This might not work. You might struggle. You might fail. This that. But I just really love watching people give it a shot, right? And I'm telling you this. This is true of the world as well. And yeah, there'll be people who will complain. There'll be people who will be like, "You'll never be able to make it." This that. And it's all part of the game. But ultimately, you have other builders who will support you, right? And trust me, we like the world will support builders. Like you they will meet you halfway, but you need to struggle for a bit, right? That's the weird part of the world. um Awesome, there's so many of these. I've got to like click one by one. Why didn't we start regional channels or dub your videos? Because yeah, we're not very good at it. Like you have to understand the core competency of doing regional languages. Do I understand it as well? No. If I don't understand something, I don't do it. If I don't feel like I can pick it up well enough, I don't do it. So yes, I can kind of speak in Hindi now. I've picked it up over the last few years. I studied it for 14 years, but I didn't pay any attention in school or college. Actually, school only mostly. But like I would rather take what I'm really good at and get even better at it. And if I'm taking bets, it has to be like we have to have some competency, right? Like I'll get beaten by somebody else who can speak like better Hindi. Um, awesome. So now, guys, I need a favor from you all. Please stop sending me money because they appear on my feed like Shashank Pandey has said trade gym dant 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 .in trade gym .in testing distribution $40 you spent. Crazy, but please stop sending me money because I can't focus on the actual questions because the money questions come in like here. Awesome. Shitanshu says I gave my 100% but I failed JEE. Yeah, a lot of people did. But like you know, like JEE is like the base lottery in India. Like it's a good, don't get me wrong, the IITs are good institutions, but like entrance exams are like, especially those kind of entrance exams, a big lottery system, right? Because like the error margin is zero, and even if you make no errors, like you're competing against like people who will reach that almost cream of the crop, right? Now, of course, you can go memorize and mug up every problem, but you're competing against people like 3 4 years of like quota, and like it's just like you have to be error free, and we're humans, we make errors. So I feel you, but it's not the end of the world, right? In fact, I would say college matters lesser than ever today, and college matters for the alumni. Like if you went to an IIT, the alumni that you'd meet there would like be really cool. And we love hiring IITians, right? Like we have a couple of IITians in the team who are just like, they're fantastic. They're like workhorses. They get the game. They're willing to prove themselves over many years. I like the kind of talent we see there. But like the entrance exam itself is like, what are the odds of you winning? What is the probability on the back of the paper? It's a little bit harder for you to go to another college and get through, but it's not the end of the world, right? In fact, I would say it's like it's not. It's like a no. Like if you got it in school, but if you didn't, it's okay. Just let it go. Don't tilt. Move on to the next thing. So again, money came. Stop sending me money, Rishabh. Please stop sending me money, guys. Please stop sending me money. Rishabh says no business experience, but built a hotel managing software and understanding small hotel challenges. SaaS may be tough. I lack marketing. But what's your take? I don't know enough. This is not enough context. You'll have to send me more money with context. I'm just kidding. Uh, I, I just I just feel like you need to build something unique and differentiated. I know I'm falling back on it, but it's like there's lots of hotel management software. How are you any different? And this is the first question any investor will also ask, right? Like, how are you any different? And I think thinking about how you're different is the most important thing in a population of 1.4 billion people, with everyone trying to create something or the other. And one of the cool parts about the live stream, you can see there are so many other people building so many things. And sometimes when you see your idea, like my idea is so unique and so good, but you see somebody else's idea, like, oh, I've heard of that idea 5, 10 times. So hotel management software is something I've heard of many times over the many years that I've, been doing this. And like, it's still the old incumbents that continue to win. There's some new point of sale applications that have won recently in the last 5 or 10 years, but like hotel management SaaS, like very tough to crack into. And India doesn't value software as much, unfortunately. Kanish asks, aside from tech and job gyan, what should one do for love life? Not able to find a girl, will feel ashamed for arranged marriage. Firstly, why would you feel ashamed? It's okay. Um, I'll tell you one thing, optimize for someone you can hang out with. But before that, first be the kind of person that people want to hang out with. I'm and again I'm going back to uniqueness. I can't believe how many times in this conversation, in general, today, like whenever I talk to people, I go back to uniqueness. What is different with you compared to every other like boy out there? If you're a boy, you might think, okay, that the most good looking boy gets all the girls, or the most good looking boy gets this thing, but that's not true. It's like if you go back to my college days and you go back and I've seen their, all those people's journeys over the last 10 years, the pairings are very random. Like it's more like, yes, ambition matters because ambition is like kind of a proxy with men for future success. So yes, that matters. But like in general, I think first you need to work on yourself, not just building your muscles and this and that. Those are minor things. If muscles are the only thing that attracted women, no good-looking girl would ever date, any man without muscles. And but we've seen so many examples of the alternate of other examples of this, right? Where this doesn't happen. So I just feel like focus on yourself, focus on creating differentiation between you and everybody else. And once you are sufficiently differentiated, not just with women, you'll get everything in life. You just need to be different. You just need to be unique. Awesome. Uh, yeah, somebody called me Love Guru. Thank you, Love Guru. VM. No man, like yeah. Move on to the next question. What type of content should I make? Any suggestions? Be different. Okay. Cool. The money has stopped, thankfully. So now we will go into actual real questions, which are not spoilt with money. Um, Derek said, "What's wrong with you, man? Stop sending me money. Please stop sending me money." It's like you're taking away from people who are doing free questions. You see how the world works, guys. These guys are like standing first in queue, paying the money to stand for this. This is what you're competing against them. The only way to compete. Think about this. This is like the best experiment, right? Like, how do you break through when people are spending money to appear in on top? What would you do? Be different. Ask a very different question, right? But of course, with questions, it's like sometimes you want answers to like simple things, right? As AI agents begin making and executing business decisions end to end, does advantage shift from building better models to designing better objectives, and who actually owns those? I think mainly it is about like there's this question, right? Will Infosys and TCS and all die after like AI takes over? And I can't answer this because I think there's a lot of what TCS Infosys do which is um requirements analysis. And you can never ignore the requirements analysis part of writing software. And AI will not do that because it's such a bureaucratic process, right? There'll be one guy who's like, "Oh, mere paas keys nahi hai, uske paas hai," and they'll go to that guy and they'll go, "Bro, I don't know where I kept it. I have to check my email from 1990s. I have to pick out one email that was there somewhere." You'll find that everything, all legacy systems are like kind of like archaic. There's too many dependencies on like random people, and if those people left, like those businesses are in trouble. But like gathering requirements from them is even harder because those people are know they're valuable, so they're very grumpy. Um, and Infosys TCS, it's part of the job to do that, right? So is AI going to do that? When AI can work if there's perfect information, but if people are not willing to give the information, you need to go get them out, take them out for coffee, be like, "Bro, can you please give me these files that are needed for me to feed into Gemini?" So yeah, that's tough. Okay, slow mode is on. Thank you guys. Um, okay, now let me try reading. Okay, I'm gonna have to slow this down. Guys, I'm really trying to read. Okay, give me a second. Meet Panchal says, "Bring Varun Mayya Premium back. Technically, Katas are Varun Mayya Premium is completely free." Look, guys, like the cool part and the freedom I have right now is the fact that I don't need to monetize you guys, my viewers. And there goes someone sending me money again. But like, I don't, I don't need to monetize my viewers. Right? That's the coolest part. So Katas are going to be free. The only reason I would monetize is like if I could do like the same live stream, but like the quality of questions could be higher by just having like a total subscription to have like just the right kind of questions. But like even then, like maybe I do that like sometime later. So I would say that the free Varun Maya Premium technically is the katas at this point. And everything I'm learning, I'm putting out there. And I'm shameless. Like if I learn something new and I was wrong earlier, I'll come out there and I'll be like, "Hey, I was wrong about this and this is something new." But technically katas go through this thing, right? Is this, when I put a slide, I'm like, is this wrong in from any angle? Like I do the devil's advocate thing with myself and with Claude. I'm like, are you trying to be like, when I write something down, I ask Claude, is this correct? Are there any instances where this could be wrong, and so on and so forth? Like I do this. Like this is it's if I don't do this, I'm not doing you justice, right? With live, what I'm saying now, there's probably like 5 things I've said which I think is true but is not true. But with when I do the katas, I'm always like arguing against myself half the time. Hexstar says, "Where do you think about India in the race of AI? Do you think India will win in being a neutral layer between so many models from all those countries?" Man, I have a very different viewpoint on this. I'll get belted for it, but I'll say it anyway. I think that India, my viewpoint of model layer is a lot like SQL, right? If you've seen Postgres or if you've seen MySQL, I think it's like very important. Database software is very important. There's a way to work with them. They're very, very important. But it's like, it's kind of commoditized. And it's like we don't regret not having database software been built from India. Maybe there is database software from India. I haven't checked. But I kind of find like at least LLMs like databases. And I think there's a open source lag time of a couple of years now from closed source. It's like the gap is like widening. But also like some of these open source models are good enough for like 90% of use cases, right? I think what really matters today is not the database software, but the apps we can build on top, right? What revolutionized the last 20, 30 years was not some of these database softwares being available. They were all mostly like you could get started with them for free. But like, what are the apps built on top? The Ubers and the Flipkarts and so on and so forth of the world. They were things built on top of this with some offline component. There's some that were purely digital, like the Zohos of the world. Um, and I think the application layer matters a lot. Like, what are you using AI to do? Like, for example, we use AI to make content. Very simple use case. But also, that's like, that's going to be more important. Are you using AI for law? Are you using AI for Like, are you using AI agents to do shopping for you? Like, what is the end use case? Because right now, all models seem like tools to me. And if you generate directly from the AI model and give it to customers, even they can do it by themselves, right? So I think even if that arbitrage is there right now, that's going to go in. Like my dad now has started using ChatGPT, so he knows how to use it like pretty well. So you can't ask my dad for money to like do some artwork now because he'll generate it on ChatGPT himself. Um, so it's like, what is the actual use case and how is it different from what AI is doing? This you really have to think through this. Awesome. Let's take on two last questions. Okay, Weber. I think your name is Weber. VBVHV11X. Sent me money again. Sorry for sending money. Last message got ignored. I'm building cursor for game devs called Crosshair. We have 250 agentic options, including asset generation, game logic, and more. Hey, we use something. I don't remember what it's called. There are a couple of engineers in the company who are using it, but we'd love to check out Crosshair. We don't need like AI asset generation is like, especially for 3D, is like not very good, and the topology is also very hard to work with. But I think it is useful. But like you're also competing with Unreal, no? Like if Unreal and Unity decide to do this, Unity is already doing this, so you're competing with them directly. And I don't like direct with giant company competition. Even though people say, "Oh, giant company is too slow," I don't think that's true anymore. I think we're in an era of Twitter where if you become irrelevant as a company, people will call you out, and that's keeping these founders really motivated. Um, Someone asked this very good question. I'm trying to find it. Anyway, I'll. It's just like, what does India lack, right? Does it lack funding? This, that. I have a viewpoint on India, which again I will get belted for, but like, I just want to like, I don't care. Like, you can, like, I'm self assured in myself at this point to tell you the truth, right? There is a social penalty in saying the truth in India. If you go and say the truth of how you actually feel, like, there's a penalty to this. Okay, but I think it's still very important for everyone to know the truth. And I think the truth is this. I think we've always had a courage issue because India makes, I don't know if you guys have studied statistics, but there's something called type 1 error, right? India is low courage in general. And when there's someone who's brave and tries to do something, people do a type 1 error with that bravery and say this bravery is arrogance. I've seen this at least 10 times in the last like year. Right? I see it with like top founders who are launching something new. Oh, how can they do this? It's too arrogant. Some guy saying, hey, we're doing this kind of marketing. Someone, how can he do it? He's so arrogant. But America, and there's this great philosopher on Twitter. Yeah, there's a Twitter philosopher. His name is Brute de Force. Just search for him, Brute de Force. I love his philosophy because it's like the most modern version of philosophy, right? It's not some bearded guy in like 1600 saying, aisa karo, aisa karo. It's this guy who is like, just very modern thinking, right? And he's like, America is the land of the megaphone. Like there'll be a guy with a half complete product with a megaphone saying, buy my stuff. Every other country in the world, they're afraid of doing that because their fellow peers will pull them down. In fact, it can get really severe, right? Like if you go to really like resource starved, like India is like half resource starved, right? But if you go to like really resource starved like tribes, like in the Navajo and all that, right? There, if you have something, if you catch a fish, you're doing fishing, you catch a fish, and there are like 5 people in your tribe with you, and they saw you catching the fish, and you don't give the entire fish to the 5 of them to split. If you have the fish yourself, your own catch, if you have it yourself, they will call you bad names, right? They'll do black magic on you. This is true. You can actually Google this. So it's like the more a tribe has enough resources, you're allowed to hold a megaphone and try. The less a tribe has resources, or like when they're middling, it's like courage is reread as arrogance, and therefore there's no innovation because a lot of innovation requires courage. And yes, you will be wrong 9 out of 10 times, but that 1 out of 10 times where the courage leads to innovation is important. There's a book on this. It's by Helmut, I think. It's called Envy, and you should Google it. Like, the base resource of social media is not, it's not like success or like tweeting bangers or this or that. It's none of that. The base resource of social media is envy. And if you can understand envy very well, you can understand why people envy and what is the need for envy and how resources work and how relative envy is, then you will understand why the only counter is to have enough people with the courage to go out there and do stuff. India lacks courage because everyone will pull down the person who's courageous. And sometimes it's just like a random thing. It's like it's not even rooted in any basis where people pull the person down. This is what India lacks. But this is also changing because now we have people with spines. We have people who are willing to sit down and say, actually let him have a shot. If he fails after the shot, it's fine, but let him have the shot. Right? So there are people like me who will bet on people, and not just me, right? Like I'm the smallest here. There's so many other people, investors, this, that, who will go take bets on people and give them that shot. Right? And some of these people, they don't even need a shot from somebody else. Like us, we didn't raise any money for EOS. We just took the shot ourselves. Like no one will give us, no one will listen to us, but we'll take our shot. Right? So I think this is what India has lacked. And the new India is different, man. It's like, it's people like you, like me. It's not no longer some of those uncles. And the uncles have the same mentality. Remember the building uncle mindset, right? Which is that, ye kyun ye kar raha hai? They're still there. The new log kya kahenge, like all the people who grew up saying, people will keep saying log kya kahenge, log kya kahenge. They became the people saying, doing the log kya kahenge. But at the same time, I think there's this new generation of like young builders, young energy who are unfazed. And America has that. We see in America, no, all these like slightly cringy people, like the Cluely, this, that, and all, so arrogant they are, this, that. But you know what? If you look at the last generation of America, it was all the same set of people who ended up doing very well. It's the same set of people. They get humbled by time. You cannot run a company for 10, 15, 20 years and not get humbled. You will lose. In that 15 years, guaranteed 2 years, you will lose money, right? Or maybe more than that, 2 years being, generous. So I just feel that India has lacked that, but new India has it. And I'm so excited because for me, it's about my surroundings, right? Like people ask, why don't you take the money and, do something else or build another house or this or that? I'm like, do you understand? I live in a society. And if I invest in like other good founders or I invest in like, good things around me and like help all of these people, the society that I live in becomes better. So when I walk down in the streets, I know it's all people who are not resource strapped who are trying to rob me, right? It's stuff like that. This is just a minor example, but in general, it's like taking like a rising tide lifts all boats. Okay, the idea is lift everybody up to make a better society for yourself. And this is not something I'm saying just, 2 hours I've been doing this, right? Like this is not something I'm saying just for the camera. It's actually a truth. A rising tide lifts all boats. So some of you will make it, and then you will become the rising tide for some of these other people. And if we can contribute in any way, that's like, it's such an honor to do that. So I just feel that New India is different. There will still be these old mindset people in young bodies who will say this can't be done, that can't be done. They're on their way out. Awesome. Okay, let's just open 2, 3 more questions and then we're done. Free comment have limit. Xnity. Again, money. Don't send money. Is there any way we can send all this money to charity? You guys pick one. Just send it off. Hi, Varun. My product is for you. It's a fruity AI. It's a media project management. How to connect with content produce. You know what? If it is good, like people from my team would have found it. Right. So try to get their visibility. And there are lots of people on LinkedIn with like either EOS or YAS or AV or whatever. Just like DM them on LinkedIn. It needs this product needs to rise bottom up. And usually I won't even be involved in the purchase decision for something like this. If it's under like a couple of lakhs, I don't even know, like a lot of things that we're spending on that are like less than 2 lakhs in the company. So it's like the person responsible for it will make that decision. Okay, we'll take one last question, okay? Any suggestions for video game startups? Oh wait, Naveen, I've taken a lot of your questions. Let me do something else. What are your thoughts on private equity on YouTube channels like Veritasium? I don't know. I mean, I know Derek in real life. Um, I don't know him that well also, so I don't know what are the reasons for him doing something like this. But it is also like, it's pretty obvious he's been doing it for 10, 20 years. It's like he spent the time and energy. Like, let him enjoy the rest. He's given us 10, 20 years of his life. I grew up watching Veritasium, right? So if he wants to walk off and know something in the YouTube space, I'm just like, I want to see it play out before giving my opinion. We will do one last question. I am Kamble says, what motive? Where I've just been like, this is not worth it. Like the amount of pain and misery that entrepreneurship puts you through. Like it's always so easy when you see it in hindsight. When I do this report and you see it in hindsight, ki aisa hai, waisa hai, it's always so easy. But it's like, I remember when we didn't know it'll work out. I remember we had a client who had committed to us and I rented an apartment. I'm talking about for EOS, right? Because this is a bootstrap story. I rented an apartment because the client had committed that money to us. Then last minute, the client said, nahi hoga. And then like, I just paid security deposit for this apartment. We had gotten a slightly bigger apartment in this place called Embassy Grove. The client said, no, we can't continue. So it's just like, it's tough. Like there are days where I'm just like, even now where I'm just like, actually now it's different because now I would say I have like a lot of these people with me who have built in my journey who will, even if I am feeling off, they will be energized. And sometimes when they are not energized, I am energized. So it's like sharing misery, like misery loves company. So like sharing the misery has always been like amazing for us. And that's why I'm like today, it's like it's easier than it was. But the early days were damn tough. And but you learn how to get back up. You learn how to not tilt. Tilting is like getting upset over like bad things happening in life. Yes, you should get upset. But if life was entirely happy, if you had only happy moments from now till the time you died, only like good things happen to you, you'll get really bored. The downs are important. They make your life, they color your life. The ups and downs color your life. So permanent down is bad. Permanent, up is bad. Um, but when you go through a down period, why not just next time just look at the down period and be like, I'm going through a down period, but it'll go back up. Anyway, yeah, it's good. Anyway, I think we're done with the Q&A today. Indionometry says peeping for the founder's office role. Hey, if we are hiring lots of founders office people, you should DM Rohit Kamath on Instagram. But anyway, thank you so much for this. I love spending time with you guys. Trust me, like I've just been so I've told my team every few weeks we should do a live stream. We should do a live stream. It's just I've never had the time to catch up. We'll be putting out our report live soon in a couple of days. I need to send it to all the different people and make sure that they're fine with all with what we're putting out. But like in general, I love spending time with you guys. I'm so bullish about you guys. This is not something I'm saying just for the camera. I'm so bullish on people who can sit at what's the time? 10:30 in the night, sitting and watching this live stream. Is a cricket match going on today? While a cricket match is going on, I'm so bullish about you guys. I know you'll all get somewhere in life. I can't wait for when you get older and you build this cool stuff and then you go tell a friend, I learned this from Varun. For me, that's the kick in life at this point. And yeah, we'll do some offline stuff. Like I want to do more offline stuff, right? Let's have you meet me and you meet each other and do cool stuff. And yeah, we'll definitely get some of you to the office if you're in Bangalore to check out what we're doing on the game side. That's it for me.